Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a really big day in the market. And you might notice the background's a little different because it's pouring here in Florida. It's like a torrential downpour. It's been going on for, I don't know, 8 hours now. So it's not going to stop. So I temporarily relocated into my inside office instead of the sunroom, which I know you guys like so much. So hopefully back out there tomorrow. But oh boy, was the markets ripping. I mean, everywhere. And we're going to go into all the charts, why certain stocks were moving like crazy. One thing you need to be particularly watching out for, and I'll show you that as well. And of course, you know, and also, I'll ask your opinion on something because I heard something yesterday. Somebody said it is the dumbest thing I have heard in 2023, believe it or not. And I'll get your opinion on that. We actually did have economic news today, though. And boy, it didn't dampen the resolve of the market at all. When we came out with initial jobless claims, once again, comes in higher than expected, right? So a softening job market. So you see this moving up, right? You saw U.S. continuing jobless claims also pop back up, start moving in the direction the Fed wants to move in. But the market's like, that's fantastic, right? Because what's it doing? It's calling the bluff of the Fed. They're not going to raise rates anymore. This is actually the pause, right? Now, of course, retail sales, you know, this isn't adjusted for inflation. Keep that in mind. But we're still spending, right? Still, it came in higher than expected. They keep raising prices. We keep buying, right? That's just the way it is. You can see it down there at the bottom, you know, the little blips there. But again, still positive, okay? And of course, this is what Jerome Powell mentioned like 6 times in his speech yesterday when he says U.S. personal consumption expenditures keep going up. They just won't break. All right, and you can see that right there. If I was a stock, you would have hoped you were in way back, right? Keeps going up. This is what he keeps talking about, keeps worrying him. And I found this meme today, which in a way is almost true, right? You see right here, the American dream with a 3% mortgage rate. Beautiful house right there, as you can see. And then you scroll down, and the American dream with a 7% mortgage rate, and it's a shed. And I can tell you in my area, believe it or not, downtown, they're actually taking those big metal containers you see on the big ships to move stuff around the world, and they are making those into apartments. They're literally welding them together like 3 stories, putting stairs on stuff, and people are actually renting those things out right now. And guys, before we continue, if you're getting anything out of this, please hit that thumbs up down there. I really appreciate it. And if you like the material here and the videos, think about subscribing. And yes, that is a true story. Let me know if that's going on in your area. But hey, it is down by the water. So, you know, it is waterfront property there. So amazing. I don't know. I've seen the pictures of them and stuff. And they don't go for cheap either, by the way. Just FYI, because they're downtown. Now, first, before we even get into it, I'm going to say 5, I think this is 5 reasons why the market is basically going parabolic. One, I'm going to share with you a quick clip of a members video I did. It was December 2nd, as you can see right here. And this is come to fruition. And it was titled, What Really Happens When the Fed Pauses Rates, or even when the market believes they're going to pause rates, right? And then cuts. You see what's happening now. We're tightening rates into a falling market. What's happening here? We're tightening rates into a rising market. Supposed to be a strong economy, right? Then they pause. Right here where this box is at, they pause. And look what happens to the S&P. Remember, the Qs go up more than this, but the S&P jumps 16.18% right there. I'm sorry, 17% right there when they do it. So you can see it goes up, right? And so then they cut rates, the market goes up a little more, and this is kind of off because of what happened in 2020, right? And then we'll go to 07, 08. We know about this one. You can see right there, they end up cutting or pausing rates right there. Market goes up 20%. They cut, bang, market crashes and burns, right? Because we're in a major recession, financial meltdown right there. And so far that has come to fruition. That's exactly what's been happening with the market, right? The other thing is, what do you see? I've been talking about this, right? Bears capitulating, right? So now on the S&P E-mini futures, now all of a sudden they're starting to not short as much. We're not seeing record shorts like we were seeing. Okay, that's happening as well. And of course, as the markets continue to move up, I'm talking about in stocks and everything else, bears are capitulating and giving in, right? So you're seeing gamma squeezes all over the place. But again, what else is going on with the dollar? Started rolling over. Terrible day today, by the way. And it looks like it could go down to 100.4. We'll have to see on that. But the weaker the dollar is, that is a tailwind for the market, which means it will continue to push it up. And that's something you were seeing today as well. And also, what do you see happening is, this is first quarter. I can't wait to see second quarter, but stock buybacks are still in full force, as you can see right here. Q1 of this year was bigger than Q4 of 2022 with $215 billion, up 2% from Q4. And like I said, I can't wait to see Q2 because that's when this huge run-up happened, and companies usually don't like to purchase their stocks when they're way, way up there like that because they don't have to because we're doing it for them, right? And also keep in mind, I mean, what else is happening? Yes, you have this AI, boom. Now that was done. Please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong in this. I never mind being wrong. But I saw somebody yesterday, and this is what I was talking about, those bull and bear groups, right? And this certain particular person runs a bull group, right? And so even when the market's crashing and burning, they'll say, oh, no such thing as a bear market. But, and they've changed narratives like 6 times already. But they said something yesterday responding to somebody I saw on Twitter, and it said, the AI, there is no evidence, let me sure I get this right, there's no evidence that suggests or proves that AI has contributed anything to this market rally. Did you get that? AI has nothing to do with this market rally at all. I'm sorry, let me go ahead and state my case real quick on this one. I'm sorry, the market, if you look, 2023 was going down. Then all of a sudden, Nvidia comes out and says AI 89 times on the call, and then has a huge, earnings deal and says AI is going to change the world, and it's booming, right? It wasn't going up 100, 200% before they said AI 89 times. It may have been going up, not like that. All of a sudden, AMD says it. Kroger, for God's sakes, a grocery store chain this morning on the earnings call said AI 9 times, okay? Google was not moving up until they started saying AI 79 times. Okay, I can keep going. You got companies who literally, the ticker symbol has AI in it that has nothing to do with AI at all, and they've gone up 300 to 400%. All right, these companies, and there's one that this stock actually reported earnings, missed earnings, an AI company supposedly, missed earnings, didn't even guide forward to go up much, yet it's trading at 30 times sales now. It was like 12 times sales before that. I'm sorry, yes, AI has something to do with it. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. But that was one of the, I told you, getting these camps. I don't know why. I don't know why I not even admit that. Just say, yes, it does have something to do with it. It happens, right? It happens, okay? Now, what else? Now this rally today, and I won't put this in there because I didn't come up with this research. One of the members did. So if you remember, make sure you go on the Discord, look in the chat section and stuff, and scroll through. And you'll see one thing that really drove this market day. I'll give you a hint. Something to do with zero DTE options, just FYI. But he found a great chart, and it shows some crazy stuff that happened today. And it makes sense when you look at the S&P and the QQQ chart. Now, what else you see today? No red on any sector. Look at this. You just scroll down. Green, 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 green. Didn't matter what it was. This is one of those all market rallies, baby. I mean, if you have a stock out there, I think somebody even said, one I remember said the Dow Jones thing had one red stock and it was barely red. And it reminds me of this meme right here. Oh, we're going down. This is about midday today. I'm starting to go down with it. Nope. Get your butt back up there, baby. Up only. That's the way it works, okay? And when you look at the S&P, you kind of see what I'm talking about there. I mean, that literally is, that's a big green candle, right? It really moved up, right? RSI overbought like crazy on the daily. MACD stretched out like you just wouldn't believe right here. But, and I was talking to somebody, today, and they gave a number. They said, oh, it can't go above here. And I'm like, 4,500 is really where people are thinking on the S&P, around 450 on the SPY. We'll see if that holds out or not. Again, because this market has moved up fast. And, I mean, for my liking, way too fast. When you get moves like this, when things are parabolic, we all know what happens. But again, you're looking 445 right there, 450, somewhere in there, and we're not that far from it, right? And so there's going to be a liquidity grab at some point in time. And so why not there? We'll see. I mean, it's almost getting to the point where it's overbought on the weekly. And so just keep that in mind. Now, something important here, the Qs. That right there is the 150 moving average, and you need to know this. Pay close attention, okay? Right now, we are sitting at almost, with this move today, almost 23% above the 150-day moving average. Why is that important? And it's because of this right here. You go back to 2009 forward, okay? So, 14, 15 years here? And when you get stretched above that 150-day moving average, what you usually get is a pullback, okay? And so you may not be able to make out the numbers. Hopefully you can, but when you look here, there's only one other time where we've been higher above the 150-day moving average. And that was September of 2020, right? And you can see right there, there's the red all the pullbacks, the number of days to the far right, the ranges if you want to check it out. So basically anywhere from 9 to 12% type of pullbacks here when this happens, because it's like a rubber band, right? And we're way above the 200 as well. So just keep that in mind. Again, when things go parabolic, this happens. And when you look at it, look at that chart. Let's just keep it real here. That right there, does that look normal to you? And this is why I get the feeling, like for me, I don't know if it's just me, I feel like 2020 and 2021 all over again. And the reason why I feel that way is because I said, like in the Discord today, when I see something like Workhorse, who I thought was bankrupt and gone off the index, sitting there, going up double digits today, it's up like 40% in 3 days. Lucid's moving up, and everything EV was just going green today anyway. But just so many companies just going parabolic, right? Short squeezes galore by companies we ain't seen, even heard about in forever. And that's why I just get that feeling. Are we due for a pullback? I think we are. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. Maybe we'll just keep on going on steroids today. And especially when I see what the mass media really talking about, like really pulling people in, and I see all those big fund managers I showed you capitulate and everything. Again, this might be different. First time in history, we just keep going parabolic and never move down a big move, but we'll have to see. And, Tesla, I want to look at Tesla because Tesla dip buying day right here, right? Comes down, dip buy, and then what do you see? Dip buy, dip buy, dip buy, dip buy. Right around that 254 range, like people just moved right on in. And one reason for this, as you can see, obviously we still hadn't made it and filled that full gap yet, and we can't seem to make it through, obviously, that big supply area up above there. And so, but one reason Tesla, continues to get these dip buyers, you can see right here, look at this. This is net purchases by individual investors over the last 5 trading sessions. Which stock do you see getting bought up? Yes, that will be Tesla. Okay, like what is it? 1.3 billion worth of Tesla from individual investors. Nvidia is not even close to it, right? AMD, Amazon, Apple are the next ones, right? Apple set a new all-time high today. BABA, again, this is China, doing their thing, right? Stimulus, they cut another rate today. I told you it was coming out at 8 o'clock last night. It did. And they're also going to be voting on a stimulus bill coming up here. It's in 24 to 48 hours. We'll see if they pass it. And what's going to happen when they pass it, right? That is crack to an addict, right? That's what this is, okay? And so that's liquidity. And so they pass it, what to see, but you can almost guarantee Chinese stocks are going to be rallying off that. As you can see, that was what I was talking about happening last night. It was another different kind of rate cut they did. But, if they pass the stimulus bill to try to boost their economy, because their economy is a mess right now because of their real estate market and stuff, you can only imagine that, big money is going to start rolling in there because liquidity drives markets, right? And of course, what Apple do? New all-time high. Wasn't about to be left out. It was like, hey. Overbought again. It's not one of those stocks that stay overbought for long, so you would expect some kind of pullback here, a little more consolidation if it's going to continue this move up. And again, it's respected that trend line pretty good for the year of 2023, so maybe we finally get a touch off that. But again, it doesn't stay overbought for long. And when you look, it's sitting so close to recapturing. I thought it eclipsed 3 trillion last year for a moment. I could be wrong, but either way, it's still the only stock that's going to be up there at 3 trillion this year, I'm assuming. And so it's probably going to be in its own class once again. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it had hit 3 trillion last year. What's amazing to me is how Nvidia has passed Tesla. Like Tesla's not a $1 trillion company anymore, and Nvidia is just kind of blown right by, right? And it's getting close to blowing by Amazon. So that's going to be fun to see. Nvidia, of course, what did it do today? Look at this move up. That's crazy. This is the hourly chart right here. Big move up over the last 3 days, actually. And so, red day today, had taken a little bit of a break. Again, come in from the overbought territory. It looks like the MACD wants to roll over in the hourly for a temporary deal. But, just go with the bigger time frames. Look at these time frames right here. Look at the RSI and MACD. Look at the weekly. Like I said, it's at like 87 now or something on the weekly. We'll see how high it can get. But again, look at that chart. Look at those candles on the weekly. That is amazing. It's not something you get to see very often. And when you can see what's happening, all these call sweeps, all these big block orders coming in from the calls, right? Flooding in for July, August, September. And for it to keep moving up, remember, it's not individual investors. When you're talking about a stock being this pricey, I showed you some that were moving in Tesla. There's others that are still buying at this price in Nvidia, still moving it up, right? Because again, you can't miss out. You get fired. They already missed out on a whole bunch. So they had to capitulate. Remember I told you that one perma bear, he bought in at 400. So, hey, he's up in his position, right? But like you said, had to do it finally. Had to do it. But I don't know. Let me know what you're feeling. I'm just kind of, when I see things, and I just did a members video on the fear and greed and the AAI index and just all this stuff, man. It's almost like euphoria, right? And you go, I'm not saying we're going back to October, nothing like that, but I'm just saying at some point in time, you need a 5 to 10% breather at some point in time. Do y'all realize? We're at 8.5% off an all-time high on the SPY, 10% off an all-time high on the Qs, with rates we hadn't seen in a long time. I'm talking globally, right? European Central Bank just did another rate hike this morning, right? But it's like, nope, I showed you liquidity's actually increased. But you would think at some point in time, and this is what we got to figure out, it's going to take effect. At some point, it's got to. It has to, right? But the thing is, as long as behind the scenes, they're putting liquidity out there, like I told you, the market, it's not about, what do they say? They can say irrational, long as you say solvent. And remember, we don't report earnings for a little while here, so it's got room to run. And what they're saying is to the Fed, we don't believe you. I think even the bond market, we don't believe you. You're not going to do any more rate hikes. And you know what? Only time is going to tell, right, whether that happens or not. And so one of two things is going to happen. We're either going to have a soft landing, second time in history, where everything just works out and people stay employed and all that good stuff. Or two, there'll be a recession at some point in time, whether it's the end of the year, whether it's next year, whatever it is. And guess what the market will do? If it's somewhat bad, they'll just sell us off. That's it. That's what happens, right? It's as simple as that. I know people make it complicated, but that's what it is, right? And so, we'll see what happens. Again, that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we'll look at and track and everything. But right now, you enjoy the green. We'll see what happens. If you're going long here, be careful. That's all I'm saying. That's the reason why you need to look at that stuff and say, oh, might be overextended just a little bit. But, there are other stocks, right? Again, where they can continue to rotate into small caps. Because right now it was the S&P and the Qs taking off. Russell did okay. Right, banks for in, but it was the Qs and the S&P roaring back, right? So, watch for the rotation, see what happens. Industrials are fitting to set an all-time new high, right? Isn't that crazy? A lot of also look at the discretionaries, targets and things like that. They're coming up big time too. So, that's where we're at. And remember, we also got seasonality, which I'll talk a little more about that as well. I'll put that in the Discord for everybody, but that is also taking effect. Plus, what is it, pre-election year, whatever they call it, is happening as well. So just other things we'll talk about as well. So hopefully back in the sunroom tomorrow. Appreciate all you guys who've been watching the videos and all that good stuff. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Continue to share the videos. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.